The engagement party I hosted with my fiance was meant to be a night of pure joy, a celebration of the life we were about to build together. I'd spent weeks planning every detail. The soft glow of fairy lights strung across the backyard, the playlist of our favorite songs humming in the background, and the clinking of champagne glasses as friends and family toasted to our future. My heart swelled with excitement and anticipation as I stood beside him, my hand in his, imagining the years ahead filled with love and trust. But that night, everything I dreamed came crashing down in a way I never could have foreseen. It started when the back door slammed open, the sound cutting through the laughter like a knife. My stepsister, Cara, stormed in, her face flushed and her eyes burning with a fury I'd rarely seen. The chatter around us died instantly, replaced by an eerie silence as every head turned toward her. She didn't hesitate. She marched straight through the crowd, her heels clicking against the wooden deck, and stopped just feet from where I stood with my fiancé. "You thief!" she spat, her voice trembling with rage. "You stole my baby daddy." I froze, my mind scrambling to make sense of her words. The accusation hit me like a punch to the chest, knocking the air out of me. Stole her baby daddy? My fiancé? I turned to him, searching his face for some sign that this was a cruel joke, but he just stared at Cara, his jaw tight, his eyes wide with something that looked like panic. Before I could even process what was happening, she launched into a tirade, her voice growing louder with every word. She claimed my fiancé was the father of her son, a child I'd always assumed belonged to her ex-husband, Matt. She said they'd had a fling years ago, before I'd even met him, and that he'd abandoned her when she got pregnant. My head spun. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't want to believe any of it. Then came the moment that turned the night from chaotic to surreal. Cara reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper, waving it in the air like a weapon. "I have proof," she shouted, unfolding it with a flourish. She thrust it toward me, and I caught a glimpse of what looked like a paternity test, though my hands were shaking too much to take it from her. The crowd gasped, whispers rippling through the guests like wildfire. My best friend, standing nearby, grabbed my arm, her grip tight as if to anchor me. But I was already sinking, drowning in a sea of confusion and dread. I looked at my fiancé, waiting for him to deny it, to call her a liar and put an end to this nightmare. Instead, he ran a hand through his hair, his face pale, and muttered, "It's not what you think." My stomach dropped. He admitted it. There had been a one-night stand with Cara years ago, before we'd ever started dating. But he swore he didn't know about any child. "She never told me," he said, his voice cracking. I had no idea until right now. His words were meant to reassure me, but they didn't. They couldn't. The betrayal sliced through me, sharp and deep. Even if he hadn't known, he'd kept that fling a secret from me. And now it was exploding in the middle of what was supposed to be our night. The party dissolved into chaos after that. Some guests left awkwardly, mumbling excuses, while others lingered, whispering in corners. I barely noticed. I was too busy trying to hold myself together, my chest tight with a mix of anger, hurt, and disbelief. Cara stormed out eventually, leaving the crumpled paternity test on a table like a bomb she detonated and walked away from. I picked it up, staring at the numbers and percentages that claimed to hold the truth, but it only made me feel more lost. Was this real? Could I trust it? Could I trust him? In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the gnawing uncertainty. I needed answers, real ones, not just Cara's theatrics or my fiancé's shaky explanations. So I did something I never thought I'd have to do. I called Matt, Cara's ex-husband. We'd never been close, but I knew he'd been suspicious about their son's paternity for years. When I explained what happened, his voice was heavy with exhaustion. "I've wondered," he said. "She always dodged my questions." He agreed to get a new paternity test done, one we could both trust, to settle it once and for all. Waiting for those results was torture. Every day felt like wading through quicksand, my mind replaying Cara's accusations and my fiancé's confession on a loop. When the results finally came, they hit like a thunderclap. Matt wasn't the father. The little boy Cara had been raising, the one she collected child support for, wasn't his. It was a bombshell that blew open her lies, and the fallout was immediate. Matt was furious, filing for fraud charges against her, and the legal mess she created started unraveling faster than she could keep up. Word spread quickly, and soon enough, another man came forward. A guy she'd also tricked into paying child support years ago. A second paternity test confirmed he was the real father, and in the end, Cara lost custody of her son to him. She'd built a house of cards on deceit, and it had finally collapsed. Part of me felt a grim satisfaction watching her face the consequences, but mostly I just felt sick. Sick of her, sick of the drama, sick of how it had tainted everything I'd held dear. But the damage wasn't just Cara. My relationship with my fiancé was cracking under the strain. I tried to move past it, to believe his story and rebuild what we had, but every time I looked at him, I saw the secret he'd kept. I saw Cara's face, her voice screaming through my engagement party. Trust, once so solid between us, had turned to dust. We argued more than we talked, each fight peeling back another layer of doubt. I started wondering what else he might have hidden, what other surprises could be lurking around the corner. The love that felt so certain now felt like a fragile thread, stretched thin and ready to snap. After weeks of wrestling with my feelings, I told him I needed space. I moved out of our apartment, crashing with a friend while I tried to sort through the wreckage of my emotions. Being apart didn't make it easier. It just made the hurt sharper, the questions louder. Then one night, he called me, his voice raw with guilt. He admitted he'd suspected Cara might have gotten pregnant back then, but hadn't wanted to deal with it. So he'd buried it. He'd hoped it would never come up. That was the final straw. Knowing he'd had even a flicker of doubt, and hadn't told me, it was too much. I ended the engagement that night, tears streaming down my face as I said goodbye to the future I planned. It hurt like hell, but there was a strange relief in it too, like I'd finally set down a weight I couldn't carry anymore. The aftermath wasn't just about him, though. My family had taken Cara's side at first, believing her accusations over my pleas for understanding. My mom had even called me selfish for ruining the party by fighting with her. Their betrayal stung almost as much as his, and I pulled away from him too, needing distance to heal. I spent a lot of time alone after that, replaying everything. The party, the lies, the way my life had unraveled in front of everyone I loved. It was overwhelming, but slowly, I started piecing myself back together. I leaned on my friends, the ones who stood by me through it all, and I began to see a path forward. Now, as I sit here months later, I'm still finding my footing. The chaos that erupted at my engagement party feels like a distant storm, one that tore through my life and left me changed. I'm not the same person I was that night, laughing under the fairy lights with a ring on my finger. I'm stronger in some ways, more guarded in others. Healing isn't linear, it's messy and slow, but I'm determined to reclaim my peace. Cara's lies, my fiancé's secrets, my family's doubts, they don't define me. I'm ready to write a new story, one where I'm the one in control, and this time, I won't let anyone crash the party.